Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is the person who doesn't know where to keep the heroes,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Keep the Heroes Out. Now if you want to see our review of what we think, check out Rolling with Reviews, Keep the Heroes Out. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Keep the Heroes Out is an asymmetric, cooperative dungeon defense game where you play as the monsters, protecting their hard-earned treasure against invading hordes of looters, so-called heroes. They're trying to steal it. Your goal in every scenario is to survive the invading heroes. If the main treasure is taken, the game ends and you lose. But if you manage to protect the treasures for long enough, you all win. All right, Will, so how does the game change for two players?
There's no specific change for two players. It's just each person has to set up their own monster area.
Your components.
Yeah, you have to grab the right components. There is no bot. However, there is an AI that you have to follow. So you flip up a card. All right, my Nanoman comes in. My Nanoman does his summon ability. All right, is there a trap? If it is, he's dead. If not, he's back up and he's going to do a thing. All right, he's going to check if there's monsters. If there is, he kills them. All right, then he's done. No, wait, there's no monsters. All right, so he checks if there's a treasure. All right, there is. All right, he takes it, then he's done. No, wait, the treasurer is too powerful. He has to wait for assistance. Okay, now he's done.
Yeah, there's a very handy flow chart on the back of the, I can't remember which booklet, whether it's the rules or the, I think it's the dungeon booklet.
Yes, but it's very handy to have that flow chart always available.
Yeah, always keep that face up for your first couple of games.
And even still, I would still keep it around because there are certain things like, one thing I forgot is if there's other heroes that are face down, he will inspire them, so then they'll have to be triggered, and then they'll go and they're part of the flow chart as well.
Yeah. It's a lot. Okay, so issues at a two-player count is it is a longer game. And this is because you have to get through the same number of hero cards regardless of the player count. However, heroes spawn at the end of every player's turn. So with fewer players, it takes longer to get through it.
Yes.
Because, you have to take more individual turns.
Yes.
And this also leads to, you need to be very careful about how you pick your characters. You can't just kind of go willy-nilly and like, I'm going to pick this and I'm going to pick that because those are your favorite things.
Yeah, they have three main categories outlined. There are the attackers that are really good at just killing the heroes outright. Defenders that are really good at just filling up the space and making sure that the heroes don't do whatever, stealing the main treasure. And then you have support characters which help the other two.
Correct.
Those are the main categories. And so there's three monsters
for each type.
Yes. And and there's also going to be different numbers of meeples for each monster. So there's like a lot of slimes, but very few witches type of thing.
Yeah. So it's going to vary because each character is built a different way. Each monster type is built a different way.
Right.
So it's usually a good idea to pick different roles just to make sure that you're covering your bases. And at higher player counts, it's easier for people to double up. Because if you're like playing with,
Well, one, you're going to have to if you're playing four players.
If you're playing four players, then you have to. So, but that's it for the two-player experience. So accessibility. The cardboard tokens can be a little hard to see on the busy tiles because you've also got meeples and you've got the heroes, you've got the resources, you've got treasures. There's a lot going on and the boards are very busy. They're also all very dark colored as well. So it's kind of hard sometimes to see everything on there, especially if it's a flat cardboard piece. Same kind of thing. It's hard to see the room type icon on all the room tiles, especially the crossbones and the cross swords. Well, from a distance, they both look really similar. There is currently a misprint with the difficulty level tiles. Each tile is supposed to be like easy, normal, and hard.
The normal's printed right.
The normal is printed right back and front because you're supposed to have two waves, wave 1 on the front, wave 2 on the back. However, for easy and hard, the back side has each other's. So the back of the easy is the hard wave 2, and the back of the hard is the easy wave 2. So granted, you could just stack them if you're picking one of them, but
Yeah.
the fix for that will be in the Boss Battles expansion. They're going to be reprinting all 3 tiles that you can just get if you buy that expansion. The description of the surge ability, that was pretty confusing.
Yeah, the way it's written, it sounded like it's a conditional statement.
Yeah, it's like if you do the first part, then you can get the second part. Well, then that means you have to have a different ability to do the first part?
Yeah, but that wasn't the case. So that is cleaned up and clarified on BGG.
Yeah, just to clarify it here is the card does give you the ability to do the first thing. So if it's attack and you can attack something, like there has to be a hero to attack.
Yeah, and that killed him. Then yes, then you get the bonus
Right.
of the second part.
Yeah, exactly. And just the flowchart, as useful as it is quite intimidating. It can just be a little overwhelming, especially the first few times you play. Just go through each step slowly. Use the flowchart to make sure you're resolving the heroes accurately. It's the best advice we've got.
Yeah, because there was still even stuff I didn't cover
Yeah.
in my quick Nanaman falling down, standing up example.
Exactly.
Because the heroes will move if there's none of the above,
Right.
and then they'll move to another room.
Yes.
And then it's all checking again.
All right, so what the game does right, though, is all the icons are unique and distinct, and they're relatively easy to understand. I mean, a sword means you can physically attack, which means they have to be in the room with you. But if it's a bow and arrow, you attack someone that's in an adjacent room, as long as it's through a doorway. So everything makes a lot of logical sense, especially if you've played other fantasy-based
Anything? Yeah.
Because a sword and a shield and a bow and arrow and a boot for movement, these are all typically used icons.
Yes.
There's good reference material. So as we've talked about the back with the flow chart, well, the rules backside talks about how your turn works and also all the iconography. So they really do make it easy for you to have the references really easy and available, so you're not flipping through the book all the time. We also really appreciated the meeples. The monster meeples are really nice. They're big, they're chunky, they're easy to handle and move.
Yeah, easy to grab.
Now, we have upgraded bits from the first Kickstarter we backed, but the upgraded bits we have are no longer available. They're more on the realistic looking side.
Yeah, a realistic frog, a realistic skull and crossbones,
Right.
a realistic trap. And it kind of didn't mesh well with the
Yeah.
aesthetic of the game.
Especially with the base cardboard bits, which do come with the game. So we have both. And so the cardboard bits are the really cutesy art style that the rest of the game is. So with the new Kickstarter that probably by the time you watch this is probably over, but you can check it out to see about late pledging. It's for Boss Battles expansion, which I've mentioned, but also they will have a cozy wooden bit set that will take the icon stuff, make it wooden shapes.
Yeah. Now, the reason why we mention that is because we do find that the deluxe bits do make
Yes.
the game a lot more accessible. In fact, I handle all the resources because I can easily feel it and go, here's the book.
Yeah.
Here's the coin.
Yeah,
here's the
because
frog.
honestly, if we hadn't gotten the realistic set from the first Kickstarter, I would totally be getting the cozy wooden set because it matches the aesthetic, but it's hard to justify that when we already have what we have.
Yes.
All right. It is all open information because it's a co-op. There's nothing that has to be hidden from anything, from anyone. So even your card of hands, everything in here is language independent. So it's all iconography. So if there is anything that you don't understand, someone else can help you. Or again, the references on the back of the rules are really good. And like we said, most of the rules concepts are really easy to grasp. There's nothing too convoluted. Some of the monster abilities can get a little bit different, but because we haven't played them all, but they're still all pretty simple.
Yeah, the most complex thing was opening up the box and sorting everything out.
Yeah.
And like, okay, these cards are loot cards. Where do they go? Okay, just they stick over here. These are the
Right.
hero cards. Okay, those go over there. This is the monster card. Okay, there's 10 of this card,
Yeah.
10 of this, 10 of
The
this.
problem being what Will's referencing is the cards were not pre-sorted. A lot of board games in the manufacturer, wherever they're at, they might not print them all together, but they'll sort them so that you get all of one type bundled together. This did not have that all the cards were mixed up, and without really understanding what cards are what, it was hard to sort them.
Well, it made it so that it was hard to initially get the game to the table.
Right.
It's like, I don't really want to go through all that trouble.
Yeah.
We finally sat down, and it did take a good amount of time to
sort
sort
through.
everything out. But having had it all sorted, figuring out what everything is, from now on, it's going to be easy to get it to the table.
Agreed. All right, conclusion.
For 2 players.
I say yes. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a longer game, but it's also a little less stressful. So it's really going to depend on what kind of player you are. If you thrive on chaos, then you might want to stick to higher player counts and also shorter games. You'll appreciate that. But I appreciate it for what the 2-player does.
Yeah, for us, I think the 2-player hits right where we want this style of co-op game at. Kind of low-key.
Yeah.
And then still having a game that provides tons of customizable options is fantastic because we can choose the difficulty. We can
Right.
choose which monsters we want. We can choose which scenario we attempt. And all that allows us to get exactly the gaming experience we want, because a lot of times if it gets too stressful, well, it's just not fun, and
Yeah.
we come away more frazzled than relaxed. And we kind of
Right.
like our games to make us relax.
Especially co-ops. We want to feel good and happy at the end of a co-op game.
Yes. So this actually offers that,
Yes.
which is actually very different. And if you are the person who does want to be a little frazzled
And challenged.
and challenged, it has all the tools in here so that even at the 2-player count, you still can have that experience.
Agreed.
So fantastic. Double thumbs up for 2 players.
Yep.
Accessibility.
Yes, we just highly recommend getting upgraded bits.
Yeah.
That's going to just make it a lot easier because, one, they'll be 3-dimensional, so they'll pop up off the board, but also for feeling them, if you've got low vision or severe vision issues, you'll be able to feel the differences between them. So just the less cardboard you have on your boards, the better off you're probably going to be playing this, which also means you might want to get the first expansion. I'm kind of forgetting what it's called right now, but it offers the hero
meeples and
meeples for the heroes, so they're not just
Flat
card
discs.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. And Sarah.
Yes.
If the heroes can't be here, where should the heroes be?
Well, the tavern, of course. That seems to be where they all go in the end.
I guess. Mm-hmm. And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be
Rolling with 2?
And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.